Hello again. I've been following with great interest the sudden reappearance and subsequent disappearance of the well-known Tommy Robinson. There are various views about the fellow, of course. Some think that he is a right-wing hooligan, others say he is a patriot, and then too there are those who describe him as controlled opposition and a puppet of the Zionists. What cannot be denied, though, is that it was rather an odd sequence of events involving him last week. On Monday, there was a flurry of excitement that Tommy Robinson was allowed back on Twitter. This brought him back into the public eye, and for a while he was the centre of a good deal of attention. This culminated on Saturday when he led a group of men to the Cenotaph in Whitehall and then went with them to Soho, where he unexpectedly jumped into a taxi and vanished from the scene. It all happened very fast. 1 minute he was there and the next gone. The explanation is simplicity itself. Tommy Robinson is more or less living in a self-imposed exile, chiefly in and around the Iberian Peninsula, Spain specifically. How he lives is not clear, but he does make regular appeals for financial help, at least some of which must have been successful. It will be recalled that somebody financed a Syrian teenager to start libel proceedings against Tommy Robinson a few years ago, and that he lost the case and was subsequently made bankrupt. The judge in the case issued an injunction preventing Tommy Robinson from repeating the libelous statements which were at the heart of the case, on pain of being committed to prison for contempt of court. In May, a podcast featuring Tommy Robinson was released by a company called Mice Media, in which it is suggested he repeats the statements which that injunction prohibited him from speaking of. He claims that the podcast, called Silenced, was circulated without his knowledge or permission. Last week, when he was back in England, the Attorney General initiated proceedings for contempt of court, and he was given until today to enter a defence in order to avoid being sent to prison. Of course, that can only happen if the law officers from the Attorney General's office can actually lay hold of him, something he is anxious to avoid, and who can blame him? Had he been arrested on Saturday and then been held by the police, it would have been a perfect opportunity for the Attorney General to swing into swift action against him. So when things grew a little lively in Soho, he decamped and vanished beyond the jurisdiction of the High Court. The story is that he flew back to Spain on Sunday. I can't say I blame him, really. It is now, of course, for the Attorney General to try and find him. It's a bit like the Scarlet Pimpernel, if anybody remembers him. Is he in heaven or is he in hell, that damned elusive Pimpernel? As I say, the rumour is that he's nipped off back to Spain, but I have no idea if that's actually true. I found it very strange the way that he was allowed back on Twitter, received legal proceedings from the Attorney General's office, and then showed up at the Cenotaph in that way, all in the space of less than a week. I'm not sure what was going on there, but I think that there will soon be a sequel. Some people are saying that he's trying to reinvent himself as a respectable political figure. But again, I have no idea if that's true or not.